Hi guys, welcome back. It's been a while since I've done one of these sort of videos, which is like a new patch type video. I don't really do these. Occasionally I have, but this one's actually going to be a massive one, and there's some really exciting stuff involved with it. So I'm going to skip right down to the headline from this patch and give you the juicy information first, which is, let me find it. The next expansion for Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition will include 5 brand new civilizations, all playable in ranked multiplayer. There, yep, you read that correctly. 5. Is that all the DLC includes? No, we'll be following up soon with more details regarding PlayStation, the next DLC, and any news on the availability of this exciting update that we've got. I'm not gonna go through the whole post in a lot of detail, just to kind of show you the juicy bits. But yeah, headline is there's gonna be 5 new civilizations. Now, what I would suggest is let's not get too excited about that, because I think from this there's going to be 2 additional civilizations and 3 reworked civilizations that they're just classing it as a brand new civ. Okay, that'll become clear why as I go through the video, so do stick around for that so you can see. But I do think it's going to be 3 reworks and 2 new civs. I seem to remember with the Indian DLC they said that there were going to be 4 new civilizations, and one of those was a rework of the old Indian civilization. So yeah, technically it was a new civ, but it wasn't really. But I might be surprised. I mean, you'd think by definition, brand new in sort of capital letters, and 5 in capital letters. You would hope that is 5 new civs, and these reworks are just reworks. But that was the big juicy bit of information for you. So let's have a look at what's coming within the patch. Like I say, I'm not going to go through it in an immense amount of detail, but there are some Easter eggs in here as we go through, little reveals for the new DLC. Kind of like I say, I'm going to kind of skip through a lot of the bug fixes and graphical rubbish. Hotkeys, there's some changes going to hotkeys. But we do have some new visuals, which everyone's going to be quite excited about. There are going to be 25 new castle visuals introduced. So here we do have some examples. Says, can you guess which civilization they belong to? Let me know in the comments which ones you think these belong to. I think this one on the top left is one of the new China ones, and the bottom one, bottom left, maybe Persians castle, maybe Malians in the middle there. Don't really know, to be honest. Let me know what you think in the comments. Be interesting to see what the Scottish one's going to be. The Celts one, maybe that one there could be Celts potentially. Don't really know. Let me know. But yeah, essentially every civilization is going to have their own castle skin, which is pretty cool. So quite a lot to look forward to with that. It's going to be pretty awesome, I think. But there's also some new visuals for unique units as well. So look at the Teutonic Knight. What an absolute beautiful specimen with his winged helmet. The samurai's got a little flag on his back now. So these are the elite upgrades. So there's been some changes to the elite units and their upgrades. Just makes it a bit easier to tell whether someone's got the elite upgrade, I suppose. But as you can see, the Janissary's got his hat back. Loads of different things, as you can see. Some of the unique units are kind of having a downgraded or an upgraded variant. So you can see Ballista Elephant, Longbow, Total Warriors, Plumed Archers. They've got a different skin for the standard unit, and the one that we know now is going to be their elite skin. So yeah, that's quite interesting. I think that's going to be pretty good. Just makes it a bit more exciting, doesn't it? Just see a few more variations in the visuals, I think. But one of the big ones is regional monks and monastery visuals. As you can see, We've got quite a few different regional monks now, which is pretty cool. The Spanish Inquisition there. Nobody expects them. And we've got lots of different variants. Also, there's a couple of mezzo ones. I'm going to assume this one on the right here in the orange is that one of the Indian ones, maybe. Don't really know, but yeah, quite a few there, quite a few different ones. So it's going to look pretty cool with all the different monks. And I think that's a really good addition to the game. It's something that a lot of people have been crying out for. But to go with that, there are also some new monastery visuals. So Ethiopians in the middle, Byzantines on the left, and on the right is for shamanistic civilization. So I'm going to assume that's Mongols, maybe the Huns, and so on. So yeah, quite an interesting looking building for a monastery there. Definitely it's going to be for Mongols, isn't it? That pretty much looks like, is it the Ovu, I think it's called in Age of Empires 4. It's like a Mongol drop-off building, I think. Or it collects stone or something. Yeah, it collects stone, doesn't it? But it looks like that. So yeah, it's definitely what that's going to be. There's a few bits around animations. I'll let you have a look at that. But there are some little Easter eggs as we go through. The tech tree is just saying that the UI is having a little bit of a tweak, and it's now going to be color coded a little bit differently for regional units, regional buildings, and unique buildings. And some little Easter eggs here. So we have a traction trebuchet in this one as a regional unit. So that's going to be one of the Chinese civilizations. I wonder if it's just going to be their trebuchet equivalent. But we've also got the pasture, unique building for a pasture. I mean, looking at that traction trebuchet, it looks like it's got wheels, so it looks as though it probably doesn't have to pack and unpack, so that's going to be pretty cool. But yeah, they've got the pasture as a unique building, so one of the civs is going to have that, which is going to be quite interesting to see what that does. I wonder if it will generate sheep. I think the Mongols have pastures in Age of Empires 4, which spawn sheep every so often. So I wonder if it's going to be the same sort of thing with that. It's going to be interesting. I think they sort of replaced farms for the Mongols. So wonder if they'll be using the same thought process here. Probably. It looks as though it's probably going to be influenced from Age of Empires 4, that. But we can see on this tech tree picture as well, and this is from one of the new civilizations. So we do have a new Steppe Lancer civ, which is fantastic. They don't have knights, but we do see some unique or regional units here for them, which is Fire Lancers. There's a Fire Lancer trained in the barracks. I think that's probably the one that we saw on the previously released screenshots, where it looks as though there's like a pikeman that shoots a rocket or something. I wonder if that's what that is. So it might be that it's got like a little charge attack sort of mechanic, like a ranged attack. She doesn't fire like a charge thing. That could be quite interesting. But yeah, so we've got that new regional unit there as well that's going to be coming in. So yeah, I'm very excited we've got a new Steppe Lancer civ. Hopefully they'll have some nice bonuses for them. We can also see on this little unit card here, we've got something called the Wang cavalry. Powerful all-purpose heavy cavalry. Strong versus infantry and foot archers. Weak versus spearman line, camel riders and monks. This seems to be a new stable unit. So just say that in the upgrade bit, the heavy Heiguan cavalry is upgraded via the stable. So it's going to be a stable unit. Don't know whether that's going to replace the knights maybe, or if it's like a regional knight unit. We'll see. I think we do actually get a glimpse of that further down in here. Yeah, it's on this next bit. So you can see here, that's probably this new cavalry unit. And it looks as though the knights are blanked out, which is interesting. We can also see we've got in the siege, there's a new unit there. We do see various mentions of something called a rocket cart, but that doesn't look like it. I can see any rockets on there, but that's probably what that is. It's probably the rocket cart. And then you've got actually that traction trebuchet is in the Siege Workshop by the looks of it, unless that's just been grouped in there for Siege. I'm not sure. So maybe it's not replacing normal trebuchet. Maybe it's like an extra thing that replaces the cannon. That's probably what it is, isn't it? Replaces the bombard cannon. But yeah, that's quite interesting. So we've got this new cavalry there. We also have new ships. They have like a dragon ship, which is replacing the fire galley, and then they've got this other thing. I can't remember what it's called. We'll see it a bit further down. Don't know if that's replacing the galleon or if it does something else. But from what I can remember, from what I read earlier, it shoots rockets. Which is quite interesting. Monastery tags. Is this thing here on the right on the, is that an existing tag? I don't really play monks, so I don't really know. But I don't recognise that icon. So it does have a cross, so it's probably an existing one. You'll have to let me know in the comments. Like I said, I don't use monks particularly. Certainly don't upgrade them if I do. Okay, let's have a little look. What else have we got? We have a new unit, elite fire archer. So we don't know if that's going to be a unique unit or not, or if it's going to be a regional unit. I didn't see it. We didn't see it up here, so it's probably a unique unit. So it's not on here as a regional unit. So it's probably a unique unit for one of the other civs. Fire archer. So one would assume that's probably going to have a bonus to it against buildings. Like it's got obsidian arrows, if you can remember the obsidian arrows tech from years and years ago that the mines used to have. So yeah, it could be quite an interesting one. That unit's actually in the Chinese unit DLC for Age of Mythology as well, which is quite interesting. It's their standard archer unit. What else have we got? That's sort of hints towards the new civs. I don't think there's anything particularly. There was something a bit earlier on, actually. It was talking about, I think it was in the hotkeys bit. Let me have a look. It's talking about switching between modes. Where is it? Hotkeys. Yeah. So they've renamed the change weapon hotkey into change mode. So, and it's talking about here about switching weapon / mode. For example, melee and ranged Ratha modes. Now, I'm wondering if that means they're going to be introducing something else, which is a mode. Rather than changing weapon, changing modes, have we got mountain and dismounting units coming into Age of Empires 2? That could be quite interesting. So that's going to be a different mode, and obviously that would use the same hotkey as the change weapon hotkey as it is at the moment. So that's one little thing that I've noticed. We also have a mention of a new swordsman unit, the Jian swordsman. So I'm going to assume that will be a regional variation of the swordsman line. I wonder if it will work a bit like the legionary for Romans. But yeah, they've got these Jian swordsmen. I didn't see it up here. So you can see it's just the normal champion line there. So I suppose that could be, you know, potentially another unique unit, Jian swordsman or Jian. My pronunciation of Chinese is not going to be very good, so I have to apologise. But then we've got some sort of gameplay fixes or tweaks. Let's skip over those. It's more the balance stuff I want to look at. So some campaign changes, not bothered about those. General balance changes. So Elite Step Lancer upgraders had a massive buff. It's been reduced by 300 food, which is fantastic. So it's a bit more similar now to the Cavalier upgrade as opposed to halfway between Cavalier and Paladin. So that's quite big, I think. Cav Archer, a little bit of a nerf to the creation time, which is good. So likewise with the heavy cav archer, elephant archer's cost has been reduced by 20 food and 10. Oh, it's had a 10 gold increase, but it's been reduced by 20 food. So slight tweak on there. That should certainly make them a bit easier to mass early on in the game. Transport ship garrison capacity has been increased from 5 to 20, so no longer need the upgrades to get the extra capacity. And that effect has been removed from those upgrades as well. A few movement speed increases, trade cogs, caravans. What else? Nothing exciting else on there really. Infantry upgrades, and this is where it gets interesting. There's been quite a few infantry changes coming in here. Now they did do a massive infantry tweak quite a while ago now. But they're now doing it again. So supplies has been removed. They've decided supplies is no longer needed in the current vision. But the militia line has had its food cost reduced by 10. So it now costs 50 food and 20 gold. So Goth militia are going to be extra cheap. Man at arms, long swords, 200 swordsman champion. They've had their speed increased. So it's now 0.96. Militia are unchanged, but certainly when you got men at arms, they're going to be a bit faster now. So I'm not sure what the movement speed of a villager is, but are they going to be able to chase down villagers now? I'm not sure. 200 swordsman upgrade has been reduced by 100 food. So rather than 300 to 100, it's now 200 to 100. Doesn't look as though the man at arms have had a upgrade change. No, just the 200 swordsmen. So this is going to be really good for Armenians. So the Armenian swordsmen are now going to move faster. You get 200 swordsmen for a lot less food now as well in the feudal age. The upgrade research time has been reduced, so this is a huge buff for Armenians. HP has been increased as well from 60 to 65 for the 200 swordsmen as well. So huge buff. The Armenian feudal age 200 swordsman is going to be mental, especially as arson has been moved to the feudal age and the cost for researching it has been halved. So it's now only 75 food and 25 gold, which is mental. So 200 swordsmen with arson, with HP buffs, etc., faster speed. For Armenians, that's going to be mental. Absolutely crazy. Champions have had a bit of a buff, 100 food less, and their research time has been reduced, and their attack's been increased by 1. So, bit of a quite a strong buff for infantry in this patch, which is going to be quite interesting, or at least the militia line, I should say. But yeah, I think Armenians, that's going to be crazy good, crazy good. Eagle Scout training times had a bit of a buff as well. It's been reduced by 10 seconds in the feudal age. So it'll be quite an interesting change, that one. But Civ specific changes. Aztecs, elite Jaguar warriors and standard Jaguar warriors, they're going to be insane. So standard Jaguar warrior has had a +5 increase in its attack, so it's gone from 10 to 15 for the base attack, and the elite's gone from 12 to 19. The trade-off for that is that the bonus damage has come down against infantry, so that's been halved pretty much, so from 10 to 5, and then for the elite 11 to 6. But they're still going to be causing the same amount of damage to the infantry. It's just now they're a bit more well-rounded. They're going to be causing more damage to cavalry and everything else. But then they've got this extra little bonus, so a little stacking attack bonus. So now gain +1 attack when defeating a unit. So as soon as they kill a unit, they get an extra +1 attack. And that goes up to a maximum of +4. Which is insane. So these are no longer Jaguar warriors, they are Chaduar warriors. They are absolute chads of Age of Empires 2. They're going to be insane. They're going to be insane. Bengalis, slight nerf to the Ratha or Rata. 5 less HP and 2 seconds extra to train. Conics have had a slight pierce armor increase for the dismounted conic. But Gundians, a little bit of a change. They can now get Flemish militia from the barracks starting in the feudal age. So quite a change there. And they've had the costs tweaked as well. So from 50 food to 15 gold, it's now 30-30, which is probably quite easy to manage. A bit easier to manage, I think, than having the extra higher food costs. So early game, 30 food is much easier to manage than 50 food. And then you can see the stats. So for the feudal age, 45 HP, 5 attack, 1/1 armor, +6 versus cavalry, +4 versus camels. So they're a bit like stronger spearmen, essentially. They've now got the spearman armor class, but yeah, stronger spearmen, essentially. Celts. Road Raider has a cost increase. It's got an extra 5 food. Movement speed has been decreased a little bit, and the base attack has been increased for the elite Road Raider by 1. So bit of a nerf, very slight buff to the elite version. Infantry movement speed, Civ bonus adjusted from +15% starting in the feudal age to 5% in the dark age, 10% 15-20. So yeah, bit of a nerf to the Celts, really. I think that one. Obviously, Imperial Age is a nice little buff, but yeah, generally a bit of a nerf. So here we're at our first Civ that I said I think there's going to be 3 reworks. Obviously, the Chinese, we kind of expected that. So these are now going to be listed as an Archer and Gunpowder Civ, and they're receiving a massive update to their units and the bonuses. So we're not seeing the full tech tree tweaks, but they are getting some new units: the Fire Lancers, the Rocket Carts, the Luchuan, and that's that other ship that I spoke about that shoots rockets. And then you've got the Dragon ship, which is a unique upgrade to the fire ships. New Civ bonus, so Fire Lancers and Fire ships move faster, and demo ships +50% HP Civ bonus has been removed. So looks as though they're still going to have the starting villager Civ bonus, which is going to be good. Bit of a buff to the Chukanu, so they've got an increased attack by +2, but their upgrade cost for the elite version has gone up. So yeah, the elite Chukanu attack increase, but it's going to cost you rather a lot more. The rocketry tech has had a cost increase by quite considerable amount, but it's also going to affect the rocket carts and the Luchuans, and that will make the Luchuans fire rockets. It's going to be interesting. So they're no longer going to get camels. They will no longer get the mangonel line. I'm assuming the rocket carts will be in place of the mangonel line. It's kind of how it was in Age of Empires 4 with the nest of bees. And then lose access to cannon galleon. So maybe the Luchuan is sort of like a replacement for the cannon galleon. Druidians, Urumi swordsmen, getting a little bit of a buff. So attack increase from 8 to 9. Elite is 10 to 11. And the movement speed's got a slight buff as well. They do get access to husbandry now. Bit of a nerf to Georgians and the cavalry regen rate. So it's going from 5, 10, 15 HP to 2, 8 and 14. So a little bit of a nerf there. Makes the feudal age a little bit more manageable. Like a scout rush from the Georgians, a bit too much at the moment. Base cost reduced for Goths and the Huskars. So I've had 5 food and 5 gold taken away, and they train a bit quicker as well from the castle. 13 seconds rather than 16. The infantry bonus has been tweaked as well a little bit, so rather than 20, 25, 30 and 35, it's now 15, 20, 25 and 30. That's probably just to kind of balance out the reduced cost in those units from like the general cost. Not much changing for the Huns. Just a reload, attack reload time reduced from 2.1 to 1.9, so they're going to attack very slightly quicker. Italians, quite a few changes on the Italians, I think. So Pervis has been removed, which is interesting. It's just going to be a new, that's just going to be a new Civ bonus. We're going to get a new unique tech, which is available in the Imperial Age, which will cost 650 food, 500 gold. Hand cannoneers deal plus 15% pass-through damage, and they're more accurate. Does that mean they're going to be a bit like scorpions? Ooh, interesting. But yeah, the foot archers, condottieri, +1/+1 as a civ bonus. So that's actually going to be starting from the feudal age. So your archers, they're going to have +1 melee and +1 pierce armor right from the start. So if you think with the feudal archers, if you get the armor upgrade as well, they're going to be really, really strong, I think, for the feudal age. In the Silk Road, move to the Castle Age, cost reduced from 500 250 to 250 250. Japanese, a little bit of a buff to the samurai. They just cost 5 less, and they get a new little ability. So they now gain additional movement speed and +1 attack when charging at an enemy unit. So as though they kind of charge into the fight. So they'll approach, and then they'll probably get within a couple of tiles and then just kind of jump in with +1 attack as well. It's going to be interesting. That'll obviously last for a few seconds, you would have thought, that +1 attack. Or it might just be on their initial charge attack. So the first attack's got +1, maybe. I don't know. See what happens there. Team bonus has been adjusted. So galley line, rather than +50% line of sight, is now +4. I don't know if that's going to make much difference. Khmer, a little bit of a nerf to the ballista elephant, so their attack's gone down by 1. Koreans, so this is going to be the second civ that I said is going to be reworked. So Koreans are receiving a massive update to their units and bonuses, so they're going to get a total rework potentially. But they gain access to the fire lancers and to the rocket carts, so ones that we saw earlier on. Civ bonuses, reduced minimum range from the mangonel line has been replaced with villagers +3 line of sight. So a bit of a nerf on that one, I think. Bonus damage versus buildings reduced from 5 to 2 from the wall wagon. Turtle ship now fires 2 volleys of rockets in between its cannon shots. Received a large number of statistical changes. It's more effective against the galley line now, but more vulnerable against demos. The attacks then, so the attack stats. Cannon, 6-second reload time, but it has 20 melee damage in Castle Age, 25 in Imperial. The projectile speed has been reduced to 7.8 from 7.8 to 6. No longer affected by ballistics, but they've got rockets then, 2 volleys between each cannon, 3 rockets per volley. So 6 pierce damage, 7 against buildings, 5 against ships. And then in Imperial Age, 8 against pierce, 8 pierce damage, and then 7 against buildings, and +6 versus ships. So that's 3 rockets with those stats on. So it's a bit like a Chukanu, floating Chukanu. Armor upgrade. Armor improved, I think. Maybe not. But yeah, I don't really know much about their stats. And a bit of a rework to the unique tech. So cost change from 800 wood, 500 gold. It's gone up by quite a bit to 1100 and 800. So effect changed from mangonel line +1 range to carts, rocket carts and turtle ships +1 range. Fire additional rockets. So yeah, that's because the rocket carts replacing the mangonel line. But yeah, fire additional rockets as well, so that's going to be pretty good. So that was that one. So there's the second reworked civ. Like I said, I don't think we're going to have 5 brand new civs. We're going to have 3 reworks and 2 new civs. Team bonus adjusted from docs plus 100% line of sight to plus 6 line of sight. Like I said, minimal change, that one. Organ guns HP reduced by 10. I think that's quite a big change. Could be quite a tricky one. Well, yeah, could be an interesting one. Legionary movement increased. Not got access to arson for the Romans. Sicilians, quite a few changes for Sicilians. So the sergeant's going to be nerfed. It's going to be reworked. So the costs are having a bit of a tweak. So rather than 50 food and 35 gold, it's 60 food, 25 gold. So you just need more farms. Movement speed has been increased, so a bit of a buff there. And then the armor changes. They're getting less pierce armor but more melee armor. So they're going to be more vulnerable to archers and town centers than they are currently. But they're going to be stronger against melee. Donjons can now be built in the Dark Age, which isn't as crazy as it sounds. The HP is lower, armor's not as good, and they cannot shoot any arrows until the Feudal Age. So I don't know what the Dark Age dungeon's actually going to do. Is it going to be able to make sergeants in the? I mean, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't mention anything about armor changes in the Dark Age, so it just sounds as though you're going to have a building that doesn't do anything. I suppose it just means you can get them up, get them built on your way up to Feudal Age. Maybe. Interesting. So, whilst the citizens are already able to build dungeons to unlock archery ranges and stables in the Feudal Age, the delayed timing was too restrictive for many strategies to be viable. Okay. Okay, that's why they've done it then. So you can kind of get it in the Dark Age instead of a barracks. It won't do anything other than unlock archery ranges and stables straight away in the Feudal Age. Okay, fair enough. Slavs, free supplies, and Gambesons. Civ bonuses changed to free arson and Gambeson. Yeah, because obviously they've got rid of supplies now. Spanish missionaries now are affected by cavalry armor upgrades. That's quite an interesting one. Teutonic Knights HP increased by 10 for both standard and elite versions, and the conversion rate resistance has been increased from 0 to 3. Vietnamese. So it doesn't really specify. This is the other one I was going to suggest is a third rework. But it's not really discussing there being that many changes. So maybe it's not going to be 3 reworks. But the Vietnamese again, fire lancers. Archery range units plus 20% HP bonus has been changed to archery range units and fire lancers plus 20% HP. So yeah, they're just including fire lancers within that then. Okay, maybe we'll see if it's going to be a maybe we will have 5 new civs. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Quite interesting. Vikings Berserk getting a slight buff, 5 less gold, but that's like that's pretty much it really in terms of all the bonuses and stuff, which is pretty good, isn't it? So I'm not going to go through all these chronicles campaign stuff. There are some new maps coming. So we've got Glade and Fortified Clearing. So Glade looks like quite an interesting one. Feels like that will work like Socotra. Maybe it's like Socotra mixed with Enclosed, mixed with Golden Pit and Runestones. bit of a mixture, that one. Then we've got Fortified Clearing, quite an interesting one. And then there's a new real world map for anyone who plays those types of maps. Great Wall. So you see there's a big wall in the middle. You see there's a chicken there on that map. There's some chickens coming into the game. So a bit further down on here, there's some map balance changes. Basically, there's some changes coming in for Arabia, and it means I'm probably going to have to start playing meta because I don't think any of my kind of fast castle strategies are going to actually work now. So yeah, I mean, some of these things sound like it's just going to not work. Like spawn distances between players is now more varied and unpredictable. It's talking about how resources now generate much more unpredictably and naturally. That, to me, knowing the state of the game, means we're going to have some crazy map gens that are just going to be terrible. So yeah, we'll see. I suppose I won't judge that one before I see it, but yeah, I can see that going ridiculously bad. There's now a chance that huntable animals generate in groups of 2 and 4 instead of just 3. So you could have 4, you could have 2. If you've got 2, thinking of my strategies, it's still going to be a worker, but it could still be workable. Might just need to stick a farm down somewhere. Relics now generate much more unpredictably. There's a lot of more unpredictable kind of stuff going on in map gens. I'm going to go through all these. Where's the other bit? It's really bad for my strategies. There's now a 50% chance that regular huntable animals will be replaced by a group of small, unpushable huntable animals. So going back to that one, chicken on that map, we're getting chickens. So sometimes you might not even have deer. You're going to have chickens and you can't push them. So which means my strategies are just gone, potentially. 50% chance. It's going to be 50% chance. Can I actually play with my strats, or do I have to play meta? So I'm not really happy about that, if I'm honest. But all of these other things, I'm not going to go over the other maps. You can have a look at this yourself via the Age of Empires website if you want to look at all these different. I just kind of wanted to look at that one. But yeah, we've got chickens coming. There is somewhere on here it talks about chickens. So we've got all the new different trees coming as well. We've got willow, maple trees, blossom, Asian pine, all that kind of stuff. So we've got some new panda rocks. They're pretty cool. A nice little gif. Different types of bears. We've got polar bears, black bears, Arabian wolves. But yeah, chicken. New type of edible chicken. You can get brown chickens, white chickens, or black chickens. They only have 65 food. So you'll probably find you'll have maybe 8 or 9 chickens in a patch rather than 3 deer. Something along those sorts of lines. So yeah, we've got chicken coming. I'm not overly hyped about that, if I'm honest. But it is what it is. There's a new herdable type of animal coming, the Agali. Never heard of that, but that's going to replace some deer. But yeah, here's your chickens up. How many you got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 chickens. 650 food there, which is quite good, I suppose. Maybe what you'd have to do with my builds is just incorporate a mill. I suppose if that's going to be at 650 food, assuming that's how many will spawn, in some of my builds where I've got farms, just don't get the farms, put the mill down, because you've got obviously more food from those chicken than you would from 3 deer. So that would kind of make up for the extra food you need from the farms. So no, okay, might not be too bad. But yeah, that's pretty much everything that's interesting. So yeah, that'll do us for this one. So let me know what you think in the comments. It's gonna be quite an interesting one. I'm quite looking forward to the infantry reworks. So yeah, we'll leave it there for today, guys. See you on the next one.